student loans and predatory loans are just absolute wealth killers in the Black community. Student loans, if you took student loans off the table, the racial wealth gap would probably close by about 60%. It would close rapidly. Student loans, are to some extent have become the devil. They haven't always been the devil. They weren't the student loans were not the devil 30 years ago. They became the devil when the cost of college started going up because they knew that they could just subsidize everything and they could just get an 18-year-old to sign a piece of paper and have him in debt for life. And so a lot of black students, particularly black women, because black women are so highly educated, have the highest student loan debt burden. And what's fascinating is that half of all black college graduates default on their student loans, which ruins your credit, puts you deep in debt. And there are lots of people who have advanced degrees who are going to die with a negative net worth. That's not how you win the game, right? That's not, so you had a good experience, you had a great job, you had a great career, you had status because you're a college graduate. But if your net worth is negative, you're not really adding to that goal of obtaining the generational wealth. So basically, if you look at high debt relative to income and risk of these penalties for missed payments, collections, things like that, that's what ends up driving the banking system. The banking system makes a lot of its money off of interest and fees, right? And then if you're in that category of receiving the predatory loans, they get to charge you even more interest and even higher fees. And to some extent, that becomes just a penalty for either your mistakes or a penalty that you pay for having lack of access to capital, et cetera. So ultimately, if you're talking about building black wealth, you got to deal with kind of what's going on with student loans. If you don't deal with that, then you're going to have this problem for a long time. Next is you have things like limited access to mainstream financial services. That's a big deal. A lot of black consumers are what they call credit invisible. They're underscored because a lot of our positive transactions are not reported. So a lot of banks don't report when you pay all your bills on time. If you pay rent on time, I mean, I've never understood. It's so weird to me that a person can pay, 1,500 a month in rent for 20 straight years on time, but yet you don't think they can afford a $1,200 mortgage, right? That right there is as sinister as it gets, and it's wrong. And that's one of the other reasons why black credit scores are not as high as they should be. And there are, of course, structural barriers that do exist as well. Um, and so there are some things that kind of have to be sort of dealt with. Now, let me give you some pointers on how to sort of deal with these credit issues, particularly if you do pay rent. There actually are services like there's one called Self, Boom Pay, and Experian Boost, Boom Pay, and Self. They actually let you report your rent payment. I haven't tried any of these services out, so don't. This is not an endorsement, but you may look into those because they will actually let you report your rent and add that to your credit file, which is good, right? So that's a good way to do it. Also, there are there are services that will let you use everyday bills as credit builders like Experian Boost. I mentioned that. Grow Credit and eCredible Lift. So Grow Credit and eCredible Lift, spelled Ecredable Lift, eCredible Lift. They connect to your bank account. They verify your payments. So that means that basically, if you pay your utilities and your phone and streaming services on time, they can count that toward your credit score. So that may be something worth looking at. Now, here's the other thing too. A lot of credit scores are driven by the consistency of your payments, but a lot of you may know that. In case you don't know, now you know. Also, if you don't know, you can actually dispute things on your credit report. There's a formal dispute process because you have rights, right? So if you dispute, if you see things that you don't like or things that are kind of old, if you dispute it, they have to verify it, and if they don't verify it, they have to remove it. So that's actually how I got some stuff taken off my credit report. I just was like, I don't like this.